Okay. All right.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah. Dr. Irfan, Pak Irfan.
Yes, yes, yes.
Here,
Sorry, I forgot that we have 1 hour different.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We guess that will be the problem as well. Maybe because of the time.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
properly, right? The sound is okay.
Yes, it's clear.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to start the session, inshallah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Before we proceed, let us begin with the recitation of Al-Fatiha. Okay, so Alhamdulillah, in this month of Ramadan, first I would like to welcome all of you to Baba Boshi's session. And this session, we're going to hear from our brother, okay, Adib Susilo. Can you read to us the metric number, Brother Adib?
G1 192 36 91.
Okay, G1823691. Okay, so that's your metric number. So you are doing study under the kuliah of KENMS, right? Can you tell us the topic, the title of your thesis?
My topic is the role of cash wakaf literasi in influencing intention to perform cash wakaf, comparative study between Indonesia and Brunei.
Okay, right. So before we proceed, let me introduce the members with us today. Okay, from the academic secretariat, we have Sister Damia. So she will assist us with the academic and then technical part of this session. And we have Dr. Rafika binti Murdipi, the kuliah representative. And we have the supervisor, Professor Datin Dr. Nurdianawati Irwani binti Abdullah. And also in absence, I think Associate Professor Dr. Nur Azizan TMB. And the external examiner, Dr. Fadila binti Abdullah Suhaimi. And also from Kuliah of Economics and Management Sciences, IIUM. And okay, online we have Associate Professor as the external examiner, Associate Professor Dr. Irfan Shauki Beg from Bogor Agricultural University or Institute Pertanian Bogor University, Department of Islamic Economics, University Indonesia. Okay, Pak Irfan, I'm Professor Dr. Nur Asia binti Muhammad. We meet online. Okay, I think last 2 months we met in person, so now we meet online, inshallah. And then welcome back to your alma mater, Pak Irfan.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right. So, Brother Adib, we are going to listen to your presentation, and I will allocate maybe around 20 minutes. So limit your presentation to 20 minutes because I think most of the time you want to use for Q&A from the external examiner as well as the internal examiner. So after your presentation and Q&A, we will ask the supervisor and the student to leave this hall for a while for the discussion, and then we will invite you to come back to join us for the result. Okay, so that is basically the arrangement. Okay, so all right, so Brother Adib, we're going to listen to your presentation. Bismillah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Board of Examiner, Dr. Fadila, and Dr. Irfan Shokibek, as well as Kuliah Representative Dr. Rafiko and Secretary Cesar Daimat. And my research, as I mentioned before, is the role of cash wakaf literacy in influencing the intention to perform cash wakaf comparative study between Indonesia and Brunei. So this is the outline of these presentations. First is background of study. Cash wakaf has been proved have several benefits. At least there is a big to benefit from cash wakaf. First, as financial resources. Second is as social welfare. In financial resources, cash wakaf able to financing educational sector from the low level of education institutions up to higher education institutions. There are plenty of education institutions that have been financing or based from wakaf or cash wakaf. Also, cash wakaf able to financing micro, small, and medium enterprises through micro wakaf bank in particular area. Meanwhile, in social welfare, cash wakaf able to give benefit in healthcare, especially in predicament era like COVID-19 that we have been passed years before. Wakaf able to benefits by providing free vaccine for the society, providing hospital and things like that. And also wakaf, cash wakaf able assist or supporting zakah in poverty reductions in some area. And cash wakaf also have a big potential in both countries. For example, in Indonesia, cash wakaf have a potential about 54.3 million ringgit or about 180 trillion Indonesian rupiah. Meanwhile, cash wakaf potential in Brunei is about 10.2 million ringgit or equal to 3 million Bruneian dollar. Sadly, this big potential in Indonesia only achieved 422.2 million ringgit or about 1.4 trillion in rupiah. It is not achieved even 10% of its potential. Meanwhile, in Brunei, cash wakaf collected and distributed only almost necessary almost like air conditioner and things like that. This potential of cash wakaf not achieved because due the problem of literacy, lack of literacy, low level of understanding of cash wakaf, also lack of awareness and cash wakaf. So why cash wakaf literacy is important? As reported from Wakaf Board of Indonesia, wakaf literacy index is about 50.48, in which at low level literacy at that time. Uniquely, from it has been reported as well, 2 provinces with most non-Muslim populations in Indonesia are at moderate level of literacy. It is Papua and Bali. Meanwhile, in Brunei Darussalam, there is no record on percentage on wakaf literacy index. It is due to the limited experience on cash wakaf and due to the lack of knowledge of cash wakaf at Brunei Darussalam. Uniquely, on 2021, in the middle of COVID, Indonesia has been crowned as the most generous country in the world. Up from 2021 and 2022, Indonesia has been crowned as the most generous country. And this also most donors of charitable donation, including wakaf, within score 80%, 83% of the charity. This data carried out from Charities Act Foundation on 2021. And based on that, this is my problem statement. First problem statement is the low level of cash wakaf literacy. Literacy of cash wakaf is one of the crucial factors that encourage a person to have an intention in cash wakaf, as well as drive the attitude of person in donating cash wakaf. Sadly, the level of literacy remains at low level, and uniquely, the 2 countries have a good philanthropic culture in Indonesia and Brunei. Therefore, it is important to examine the influence of literacy on cash wakaf behavior directly and indirectly. Secondly, the missing framework or factors that lead to cash wakaf donations. The missing framework on the relationship between the factors affecting a person to donate cash wakaf, such as attitude, subjective norm, perceived behavior control, cash wakaf literacy, religiosity, trust, service quality, and image of intentions toward cash wakaf intentions in Brunei, and view of investigation of it simultaneously at Indonesia. Lastly, various findings of theory of planned behavior on cash wakaf behavior or the application of it in various factor is not done comparatively. Several previous studies have confirmed the validity of theory of planned behavior in cash wakaf behavior. However, this study were conducted in selected countries with different populations, environment, and different system of wakaf regulation, resulting different findings. Hence, the study on cash wakaf, which adopt the theory of planned behavior, has been done independently, without comparing each other or each countries with different variable as well and literacy as benchmark. So based on the problem statement, this is my research questions and research objective. My first research question is, to what extent do literacy, attitudes, subjective norms, perceived behavior control, religiosity, trust, service quality, and image of institution have direct effect toward cash wakaf intentions? Second, to what extent do attitudes, subjective norm, perceived behavior control, religiosity, trust, service quality, and image of wakaf institutions have a direct effect toward cash wakaf literacy? Third, to what extent does the literacy play a mediator role in the relationship between attitude, subjective norm, perceived behavior control, religiosity, trust, service quality, image of institution toward intention to cash wakaf? And lastly, to what extent does the literacy play its roles to the cash wakaf intentions of Muslims in Indonesia and Brunei? The significance of the study: first, for the literature, the study addressed a gap in empirical research by examining the relationship between the DIV to the IB, establishing a literacy model for cash wakaf intentions contributes to academic discussions on wakaf and behavioral intentions, particularly using theory of planned behavior and circular equation modeling. Significant for policymaker, the finding will assess authorities and government in Indonesia and Brunei by providing strategies to enhance cash wakaf literacy and participations. In Brunei, it aligned with the Brunei Empire program of zero poverty, integrating wakaf as instrument for poverty alleviations. Third, for wakaf institutions, by identifying the factors that influence cash wakaf donations motivations, it is a high priority for wakaf intentions. The findings help this institution to develop effective strategies for collecting cash wakaf, making their fundraising efforts more efficient and impactful. Lastly, for cash wakaf donor, the study highlights the importance of literacy in motivating individuals to participate in cash wakaf. By understanding the factors that drive donation behavior, institutions and policymakers can create targeted educational program to increase awareness and encourage greater cash wakaf contributions. So in literature review, there are plenty of literature review, and I summarized a big five of this literature review that more related to my studies. First, Ashley and Ramley of 2019, which implementing theory of planned behavior with additional variable, religious belief, trust, and past behavior. Alfiandi and Sukmana on 2020 also implemented theory of planned behavior with knowledge as additional variable. Meanwhile, Iza Barakon on 2021 also implemented the same theories, which additional variable perceived of usefulness and perceived ease of use. Huda et al. On 2021, and on the other hand, implementing theory of resonant actions with additional variable knowledge, religiosity, and trust. Haidir on 2021 also implementing theory of planned behavior with additional variable religiosity, knowledge, trust, and reputations. So based on the literature review, I also implementing theory of planned behavior to see how cash wakaf intention influenced by attitude, subjective norm, and perceived behavior control. And based from the previous studies, this is my additional variable, which is combine all the factors, additional factors or additional variables such as literacy, religiosity, trust, service quality, and image of institutions that being studied and or investigated separately by previous studies. And this is my hypothesis development. There is three head of hypothesis. First of hypothesis is about the relationship between direct relationship between the independent variable and dependent variable. In this study, the independent variable was literacy, attitude, subjective norm, perceived behavior control, religiosity, trust, service quality, and image of institutions. Hence, this is the sub-hypothesis that want to see the relationship between the DV, the independent variable toward the intention to perform cash fuck-off as the dependent variable. And this is the second part of the hypothesis, the direct effect of the independent variable toward the cash fuck-off literacy. And this is the sub-hypothesis as well between the attitude, subjective norm, perceived behavior control, religiosity, trust, service quality, and image of institutions toward cash fuck-off literacy. Last part of my hypothesis is the mediating effect of literacy between the independent variable towards the dependent variable, which means the relation between the intentions and attitude that mediated by cash fuck-off literacy and so on. So based on that, this is my theoretical framework that seek the direct effect of the independent variable towards the dependent variable, and this is the direct effect of the independent variable toward the mediating variable, and as well as the mediating effect of literacy between the IV and the DV. And the method of this study is a quantitative study. The respondent of this study is Muslim in Indonesia and Brunei. The data was collected through the questionnaire survey. The sampling technique in this study is proportional random sampling, since the study is a comparative study. And the sample size of the study was took from the sloping equations with 615 sample size, 347 from Indonesia and 268 from Brunei. The measurement on the study is literacy intentions, while the data analysis employs structural equation modeling. The purpose of data collections is to answer the 4 research questions that has been presented before. So the populations in this study is took from the productive age of Muslim in Indonesia and Brunei Darussalam, which is about Indonesia is 126 billion, and in Brunei Darussalam is about 359,000 populations. And the data analysis technique using SPSS and AMOS as tool for analyzing data. And based on that, the result of this study, from the initial model, the norm chi-square from the initial model is 4.2, and the CFI is 0.8. Both value is above not achieve the threshold of the goodness of indices. Meanwhile, root mean square in the study is 0.07, which achieve the threshold. Hence, the model need to be modified. And after modification of the model, the norm chi-square is reached 2.7, and CFI reached 0.9 and 22, which is achieve the threshold. And root mean square about 0.05 also achieve the threshold. Hence, the model is achieved the threshold after modifications for norm chi-square and CFI. Meanwhile, root mean square achieved the model both in initial and modified model. So based on the model, this is the hypothesis test. The first hypothesis test, that direct effect from the IV to the DIV. In Indonesia, literacy have a positive relationship, significant relationship towards intentions, as well as the attitude have a significant relationship toward intentions. Meanwhile, the rest of IV have no significant relations. On the other hand, Brunei show there is no significant relations between IV in the DIV on the direct effect of the independent variable toward the dependent variable. Meanwhile, the second part, the direct effect of the independent variable toward the mediating variable, perceived behavioral control show the significant relationship towards literacy in Indonesia. Meanwhile, in Brunei, subjective norm, perceived behavioral control, and trust on the institutions show the positive relationship toward literacy. This is the results of the race hypothesis, the mitigating effect of cash wakaf literacy on the exogenous and endogenous variable, and show that all variable have mediated by cash wakaf literacy. And this is the difference and similarity of hypothesis result between Indonesia. The difference between Indonesia and Brunei is the direct effect of literacy and attitude of IT and DV. It shows that literacy and attitude show the significant relationship toward intentions. Meanwhile, the similarity between Indonesia and Brunei in the direct effect of the perceived behavior control toward literacy. So, based on the data analysis, attitude has no impact in Brunei Darussalam due to the limitations of that government in Brunei regulations that only on masks of wakaf. Meanwhile, subjective norm impact literacy but not in intentions. Perceived behavior control also and the also has no relations on intention and literacy. This is also due to the government that not allow to the Muslim in Brunei to donate wakaf beside in mosque. And meanwhile in Indonesia there is a positive impact of literacy on intentions. Also, attitude have a strong impact on wakaf intentions. This is also related to the report by Charity of Foundations that Indonesia is the most diverse country, especially in charitable donations such as wakaf, zakah, and things like that. Meanwhile, PBC and subjective norm has no effect on intentions, as well as religiosity has no relations on intentions and literacy. Meanwhile, that means both countries, a part of religiosity, show no significant relations, whether in direct effect on intention or in literacy. This is due to populations of both country is Muslim. Most populations in both country is Muslim. Hence, the religiosity in this both country is bonding or embodied in the other variables. Based on that, the issue is low level of cash wakaf literacy and the need of government to increase the awareness of cash wakaf in both countries. Therefore, it is a need to issue a policy brief which align with wakaf literacy effort, especially in Brunei. That Brunei have a big program in the government which called Brunei Zero Poverty in 2026. So, based on the cash wakaf literacy relations, cash wakaf literacy, higher awareness of higher literacy leads to increase intention to donate. And to spreading the cash wakaf knowledge, it can be through the most all through Islamic institutions of Islamic education institutions such as university and things like that. And the program is through the educational program that spreads and based on community, which has been implemented as well in Indonesia and need to be implemented in Brunei Darussalam. Also, cash wakaf institution, government that related such as Board Wakaf of Indonesia need to use digital media such as social media from YouTube, podcast, Instagram to help increase the literacy. So, to conclude, my first question is to what extent do the IV have a direct effect on the DB? So the conclusion is the study found that the literacy have an impact on intention to perform cash wakaf as well as attitude and perceived behavior control. Meanwhile, subjective norms, religiosity, trust, service quality, and image of institution in this study are found to have no impact on the intention to perform cash wakaf. So the contribution of study practically a regulation for cash wakaf institution is also necessary to ensure that Nazir or wakaf manager or even wakaf institution carries out its duties professionally. Theoretically, theory of learned behavior in the study was used and suitable to compare the intention of cash wakaf participations in two Muslim countries and found both countries have high intentions to it. Second questions: to what extent do the IB have a direct effect toward Keswakaf literacy. The study found that subjective norm and perceived behavior control have an impact toward Keswakaf literacy. On the other hand, attitude, velocity, trust, service quality, and image of institution have no impact toward Keswakaf literacy. So the contribution of the study theoretically, literacy in the study also act as a moderating variable. Based on the finding, it can be summed up that the TPP model should be modified to suit the environment, populations, and regulation of the object of study to better understand the behavior. Third related questions: to what extent does the literacy play a mediator role in the relationship between the IP and the DIB? The study found that Keswakaf literacy can mediate the relationship between the IP and the DIB. So the contributions, practically, the findings show the mediating effect in the country. So literacy is an important part to include Muslim in Keswakaf participations. Hence, Nazir or Wakaf Mutawali of Wakaf should be supported by authorities or government, especially in Indonesia. The campaign on Keswakaf through social media, digital news, and advertisement in video channel is part of promoting and literacy for the society. Last research questions: to what extent does the literacy play a role to Keswakaf intention of Muslim in Indonesia and Brunei? The study found that level of Keswakaf literacy in Indonesia are about 66.9 and in Brunei are about 63.4. It means that both countries are at the moderate level of Keswakaf literacy. In addition, Keswakaf literacy plays its role in intention to perform Keswakaf Indonesia, while in Brunei, Keswakaf literacy has no impact on the intention to perform Keswakaf. So the contribution from this, practically, issuing at least policy brief regarding Keswakaf due to the level of literacy still in moderate level, and the regulation on Wakaf and Keswakaf in Brunei should be issued, not only drafted. Usual or Jabatan Urusan Zakat, Wakaf, and Baitul Mal in Brunei should propose the expression of Keswakaf regulation to the King of Brunei Darussalam. Theoretically, the study is specifically comparing between two Muslim countries in Southeast Asia because they have different cultures, population, environment, and regulation in Keswakaf. Thus, the finding of this study can enrich the literature, especially in the Islamic finance, and enhance the theory. For example, this is my publications along my study. There is 12 publications in journal with my supervisor. Also, one publication with Madam Fadila. Sorry. Yes, with result. Yes.
Okay.
And this is my publication on conference. There is 5 conference I followed and published. And this is my publication from book and book chapter. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah. Thank you very much, Brother Adil. You finish on time. Alhamdulillah. Very fast and brief. Alhamdulillah. Okay. I think the two external and internal examiners may have some questions regarding your thesis because they are the one who have read the whole volume of your thesis. Okay. And for this purpose, first of all, I would like to invite Dr. Irfan. Maybe you can start first.
Okay. Thank you. How much time do I have?
Okay, it depends. We can go by stages, meaning to say you may pose 2-3 questions and then we change to internal and after that come back to you. Depend on the peak of the discussion.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nahmadu wa nusalli ala Rasul Karim wa ba'd. The Honorable the Chairperson, Prof. Nur Asia, and then Dr. Rafika, Prof. Datin, Dr. Nurdinawati Irwani, and also Associate Professor Nur Azizan, and then the internal examiner, Dr. Fadilah, and Brother Adib. First of all, I would like to congratulate, Brother Adib Susilo for reaching this stage, and I have gone through the entire thesis, and I think it's already well written, but as examiner, I have some questions for your thesis content. The first one, this is a very basic question. Why you discuss only until the intention? And why not the decision? Because intention and decision are two different things. So maybe you need to clarify first, yeah? Why you just stop until intention and not decision? Is there any specific reason? Please answer first this one before I move to other question.
Thank you, Dr. Irfan. I only research on intentions based on the previous studies that most of previous studies only stop in intentions. And for that, it will become my future research for researching the decisions to perform cash wakaf, not only in Indonesia, but also most of the Southeast Asia countries, inshallah.
Sorry, your voice is not that clear. Can you repeat the answer?
Yes, I discuss only only intentions because based from previous studies that only stop on intentions, and few of them discuss towards cash wakaf behavior or decision to perform cash wakaf, and that will become my future research. Discuss or investigate the decision to perform cash wakaf in Southeast Asia country, not only Indonesia or Brunei, but such as Malaysia or perhaps Thailand, because there are similar culture of charity donations, especially in zakat and wakaf.
Yeah, because to me, if you need to explain, further why you don't come up with the decision, because of course, from the perspective of regulator, knowing the determinants of decision would be much better, because intention is still intention, it's still not action, not come to the action. We just want to know the intention, but action, of course, if you want to know the action or the behavior, then you need to dig more actually on the decision. That's why I think you need to add some arguments, why you just discuss the intention, and then on the recommendation part, on the suggestion part, then you can add the suggestion that further analysis on the decision can be made. Yeah, of course, it's up to you whether you want to study the intention or you want to study the decision. Yeah, but the two things to me, they are very different things. Yeah. Okay, and then you mentioned about low cash wakaf literacy. Of course, in the case of Indonesia, they have the data, on the wakaf literacy index, which shows that the number or the figure is low. How about on Brunei? How do you claim that the low literacy of cash wakaf also prevails in Brunei? Because you haven't, because this is a thesis, right? So you need to provide the basic of your claim that in Brunei also the same thing happens. Yeah, because I didn't find the actual data showing that in Brunei also low literacy of cash wakaf, or it is just from your observation. Yeah, because it's two different things. You may observe something based on your certain criteria that you can conclude that low literacy also takes place there, but no official figure or statistic showing that one. How do you know that the same thing also happens in Brunei?
Thank you, Doctor. From the JISWAP, Jabatan Urusan Zakat and Wakaf did not provide the percentage of wakaf literacy index or the understanding of wakaf literacy index. But I have met with the representative of JISWAP at Brunei Darussalam, and he reporting directly to me that the literacy level of Brunei, especially in cash wakaf, is very low because most of Brunei people only understand wakaf in mass only, like providing.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So it means that you need to put some footnote that based on the explanation of the let's say official of Brunei, yeah, because you have to be responsible for every statement that you make, yeah. So better to put that information. So because since the one who said that is the official, yeah, of Brunei, so I think the statement can be trusted there. So just to put there, so we are convinced that the same things also happen in Brunei. So my suggestion is that I think you need to briefly explain, not maybe in detail, but briefly explain about the wakaf system in Indonesia and in Brunei. Yeah, you can put it either in the beginning of the in the introduction part, yeah, let's say 2 3 paragraph, or you can put it in the beginning of finding chapter. Before you come up with the findings, you can just briefly explain about the different system. Yeah, for example, yeah, the different system, for example, the Nazir or Mutawali, yeah, in Indonesia, of course, it's different from Brunei. In Indonesia, we accommodate individual nazir or mutawali, which is also different from Malaysia. Individual, a person can be nazir, yeah. But in case of cash wakaf, of course, it can only be collected by institutional nazir. But this information, I think, should be provided, yeah, in the thesis, yeah, so that readers will understand, because not all readers understand the existing wakaf system in both countries. Yeah. Okay, and in the literature review, I think my suggestion is you need to uh, also provide some current recent progress of cash wakaf product. Yeah, like in the case of Indonesia, we have cash wakaf link sukuk, cash wakaf link deposit, and sukuk link wakaf through Syariah Securities crowdfunding. So that this information, because our thesis, FIFA, is on 2025, and this has been started since 2020. So at least if you provide this information, it will show that you are updated as well, yeah, with the current progress of cash wakaf product, yeah, in Indonesia particularly. Okay. Now on the methodological part, yeah, I'm still not convinced about the sampling method that you apply. Yeah, but before that, uh, okay, in the sampling method, yeah, are you sure that you apply probability sampling method? Yeah, you claim that you apply the random sampling. Are you sure you're doing that, or you are actually conducting non-probability sampling, yeah, convenient or purposive sampling, and not the random sampling? Can you explain the method of random sampling that you apply? Because the population is hundreds of millions in the case of Indonesia and hundreds of thousands in the case of Brunei. Yeah, of course, applying Slovin method with the error of 5%, of course, will give you the number of the sample, but the process of you are collecting that samples, is it really probability sampling?
Yes, in the process of the collecting data, I spent data.
Sorry, your voice is not clear.
Yes, in the process of collecting data, I'm using random sampling through the questionnaire that delivered to the productive age, which is a potential donor of cash wakaf of Muslim in Indonesia and Brunei.
No, random requires certain process. Yeah, for example, you have the entire population data, let's say 100 million data, and then you apply certain stage, yeah, to make it random, and then you contact the selected respondent. Yeah, that's an example. Because if you just say that we distribute the questionnaire, etc., yeah, because I also don't have, you don't provide also information, because Indonesia have, for example, in the case of Indonesia, we have 38 provinces, and how you come up with that one, and there is no geographical information of the respondents, yeah, in your demographic information. So my guess is actually you apply maybe the purposive sampling, yeah, or convenience sampling, yeah, but not the random sampling, yeah. Otherwise, if it is really random sampling, then you have to explain in detail. If it is multi-stage random sampling, how do you come up with this multi-stage random sampling? Yeah, because randomness doesn't mean that you give to everybody. Yeah, also you don't know them, then you give them the questionnaire. It's not randomness. I mean, yeah, to my understanding, it's not random sampling, but you need to apply certain procedure. Simple random will be different from stratified. It will also be different from multi-stage. Yeah. So I think uh, you need to change this one. Yeah. To my suggestion, I believe that perhaps you apply not the random, not the probability one, but the non-probability. If that is the case, then it should be okay. Yeah. Just to clearly explain about this one, yeah, and also the time frame of data collection. It's not the label, yeah, here. When did you collect the data?
I'm collecting data on between January to July 2024.
2000 and
2024.
sorry, 2020.
24. Between
Okay,
January.
okay. So yeah, just put there. Because I try to see there is no information of label for that one, because it's very important, yeah, to, because it's part of your thesis, that it should be clear, yeah, the time frame of the data collection, yeah. Okay, yeah, just few more things that I would like to clarify. Now, with regard to the results, yeah, I think you need to elaborate more on interesting findings, because otherwise it may give and you need to discuss it carefully. Otherwise, we may take the wrong conclusion. For example, religiosity has no impact, right? Has no significant impact. Is it correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Finding of that.
Yeah. So if that is the case, if you don't discuss it well, one may conclude that religiosity is not important because it doesn't have any impact. Yeah, no significant impact. Yeah, uh, it's very dangerous actually. Yeah, because only religious people, I think, who love to donate. Yeah. Now, so it means that here in this case, insignificance may be caused by several things. For example, if the respondents, let's say, give the same answer, yeah, you apply the Likert scale, right? So 1 to 5. All the respondents put 4 and 5 majority, yeah, which is good, for example. So it may be not significant because they are already religious. Yeah, so this is the thing that I think it's very dangerous, yeah, if you don't carefully discuss this matter, yeah. Because religiosity becomes my concern, because in many primary research, yeah, taking the religiosity as one of the variables, sometimes, yeah, the discussion on the finding part on religiosity, to me, is not that deep, yeah, and it's not that careful, because otherwise the conclusion may be may be wrong. Yeah. So that's why I think the homogeneous result, yeah, you need to investigate the raw data that you have, yeah, and you see the data itself, yeah. So if it is actually homogeneous answer, yeah, that maybe that become one of the reasons why, and you need to explain that one, yeah. Otherwise, we may have the conclusion wrong concluding remark. Similarly, with trust, service quality, and reputation. Yeah. Otherwise, if you don't carefully discuss this, the Nazir institution, because I'm also attached, yeah, with regulator, so we may conclude that no need to maintain good reputation. While on the other hand, wakaf is based on trust. Yeah, if you can maintain trust, and trust is also related with the reputation. Yeah, because in Indonesia we have, ACT, right? ACT. Yeah, now because of the trust problem, they are able to collect until 40 to 50 million US dollar per annum, now become zero, and even most of the leaders, yeah, are in custody now. They are in jail now because of the mismanagement of the fund. Yeah. So this is the thing that I think you need to uh, carefully discuss, and you need to explain why it happens, so that it will not give any incorrect impression, yeah, to the readers, yeah, and also to the regulators. Yeah, so I think for this part, these interesting finding, especially which do not meet the hypothesis or the expectation, I think you need to explain it in a very good way. Yeah, yeah. I think that's the very uh, uh, important things. Yeah, from me, and the rest, everything is already discussed in a good uh, manner. I think that's all from me for now. Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Irfan, thank you very much. Very loud and clear, Prof. Alhamdulillah, I think that may guide the student well, inshallah. So now we will listen to our internal examiner, who will be given almost, you have all for you actually. Okay, Dr. Fadila. Okay,
Yes, thank you for sharing. Karim to all, my colleagues for the Department of Finance here. Okay, thank you, Dr. Irfan. You cover most of my questions also. You make my life easier. Okay, and congratulations, Brother Adib, made to this point. I know it's not easy, but it's worth the journey. Okay, my first question, when I first read your title, first question comes to my mind was why you choose Indonesia and Brunei. A lot of studies been done on these two countries. But why you choose to compare between these two? Why not Malaysia? Why not Thailand? Why not?
Yes, first, why not in Malaysia compare between Indonesia and Malaysia? Because there are plenty study that compare between Malaysia and Indonesia, and I think there is no study or few of study that compare between Indonesia and Brunei. And why I choose Brunei and Indonesia? First, because this both country is most Muslim populations in both country. And as well as these both countries have similar culture of philanthropy in zakah and wakaf. Yet they have different regulations, which will be resulting different findings. That's all.
I think your answer very good. Please capture that in your thesis. None of the part I can find that. Okay. Second is you in the title you use the word perform cash wakaf, and in your thesis you use the word participate in cash wakaf, to give in cash wakaf. So there's three different keyword that you use. So my suggestion is use one standard keyword for all, because I think you refer to the same thing, right?
Yes.
Please check that one. And the second is, just now you, in your slide, you showed about cash wakaf potential. Okay. How that cash wakaf potential is being measured? Is the one that you put in your slide. The cash wakaf potential in Indonesia is expected about 1.8 trillion.
Cash wakaf potential in Indonesia is reported by Wakaf Indonesia. Meanwhile, cash wakaf in Brunei is reported by Juzwab. It is provided in the website of Juzwab, but there is no reported on cash wakaf literasi. Only on wakaf of in form of cemetery, mosque, and potential of cash wakaf. Hence, also this is government of Brunei, the Empire of Brunei, also have give some attention on cash wakaf, because some of Brunei people donating their money in cash wakaf in other country like Indonesia, Malaysia, or Thailand. But they are afraid to perform that because the kingdom or the government not regulated yet about cash wakaf in Brunei. But I come to Juzwab and meet the representative of Juzwab about cash wakaf. They are already drafting the enactment of cash wakaf in Brunei Darussalam. Yet they need approval from the King of Brunei to issuing the regulation of cash wakaf in Brunei. Maybe after issuing the regulation of cash wakaf in Brunei, there is plenty of cash wakaf donations as well as the increment of cash wakaf understanding, knowledge, and literacy.
Okay, next is on literature review. You capture that well. It's just on the part of the cash wakaf literacy model. Okay. One question, you also include economic literacy model and Islamic economic literacy model and financial model. How does these models relate with your cash wakaf literacy model?
Yes, that two model is a general model that derived from that model to become the cash wakaf literacy model. So that model become the role model to the cash wakaf literacy model. So before the cash wakaf literacy, there is Islamic economic literacy and then financial literacy, and become the cash wakaf literacy model.
You see, all the authors here that you put here, all them, the one who developed wakaf literacy model, they use that model before, then they develop the wakaf literacy model.
Some of them.
So I mentioned that one because I cannot see that relationship. It just comes to mind why it's here. Okay. Next is on also on the methodology. I think you need to give an details explanation on how you collect the data, the flow, when, how you distribute, especially in that country, Indonesia and Brunei. Which channel that you approach? Fund, is it the government? How they want it? Also not clear on that. Okay. Here in your result, you can see here on the income, level of income here. I can see that you put the income level is in Brunei dollar.
Yes.
How about Indonesia? You also measure in Brunei dollar or how? The result in Brunei dollar all for Indonesia and Brunei.
Oh, this is I made actually the standard of Indonesia and converted in Brunei.
So you compare in Brunei dollar for both.
Yes.
The main important part, other than that, is just small minor mistake, minor error. Okay, it's just on the figure, list of tables not properly captured. Okay, this all. Page number. Okay, that's all.
Okay, so I would take that as the first round from our internal as well as our external examiner. So Dr. Irfan, I would like to go back to you. Maybe you have some other additional points that you would like to get clarification?
Yeah. Just one more thing, just following up from Dr. Fadila. For the Cash Wakaf Literacy Index, how do you construct that one? When you
Indonesia,
claim that, yeah, it's low, how do you construct your Cash Wakaf Literacy Index? Because in your finding, you said that you make some calculation, 60 something for the Brunei, for example. How do you calculate? Are you following the same literacy index of BWI?
yes,
And
I took from standard from WI that were called by ICVU, Index Cash Wakaf, Index Literasi Wakaf Ilmu, Index Literasi Wakaf Uang. That also been being implemented by several researchers in several studies in Indonesia.
okay, yes, but is it all are applicable in Brunei as well? Because they may have different scenario, yeah, for example. Or I mean, the index, the same questions in that index also asked to respondents in Brunei.
Yes, actually I use the same index that asked to the respondent in Brunei.
Okay, so in that case, it means that only the basic information or also the advanced one.
Basic information only.
Yeah, okay. So at least this one you need to explain because you just come up with the Cash Wakaf Literacy Index and the number, but you do not explain from where you got that one. Although you give some, the framework, yeah, of Cash Wakaf literacy, but you need to explain more because for the advanced one, it is different because we have different law. Yeah, we have different law, we have different institutional setting, we have different regulatory setting. For example, yeah, the stakeholders. Yeah, there is also a bit different between the two countries. Yeah, so I think that information is very crucial. And then adopting the same division of category, yeah, categorization of literacy level. It is also very important that you have to mention that you also follow, yeah, the one that is applied in Indonesia, yeah, because low level will be from 0 to a certain number, and then from moderate, yeah, or medium from which number, and high level from which number until 100. Yeah, so that classification you need also to put there, yeah, in your thesis so that we have a clearer picture. Yeah, because I try to see whether or if you just take it from the questionnaire, yeah, there's a part of Cash Wakaf literacy. So how you calculate that one? Yeah, to get the number of 60, you do you make an average or you multiply it with certain weight, for example? Yeah. So how you from those questions, how you come up with that one? Yeah, or by other approach so that you have the number. Yeah. Yeah, so the formula is also very important. Just put it there so that the readers will understand better. Otherwise, only two of us understand. Yeah, you, I'm Indonesian, I understand. But if your colleague from European countries or maybe from Saudi Arabia may not understand, yeah, the thing that you write in your thesis. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, very fine, Dr. Fadila.
Just interesting in your reference, not many latest reference. They see the reference from 2020 level is lacking. Actually, from 2020, you might need to add that one. Okay, thank you.
Right, because we normally concerned with the date, the last 5 years. So if there's still some lacking, as mentioned by Dr. Fadila, then I think we take note of that as well. Okay. All right. So last round, I will just ask this question if there's any burning issues that you want to highlight from both of the external examiner and internal, or is it sufficient? Because I believe that, like Dr. Fadila, she has the whole binding of the thesis with her with some notes, so which I think she just wait for the time to pass this whole bundle to the candidate. Okay, that will help a lot, inshallah, because as a student, I think we want to help you to improve the thesis, inshallah. So whatever that information that we have, we take it seriously so that it will improve your thesis to the level that is expected by the exam. Okay, so if we don't have any other issue, so maybe Sister Secretariat, we can invite the students and the supervisor and the co-supervisor to meet outside this room. But there's a short discussion between the examiner. Really, I need to be here to witness the discussion. Okay, Dr. Irfan, now in this